All right. So this is our lab number 5. This lab is going to be centered around utilizing the Graylog and Splunk tools. So your task for this lab will first of all be to install Splunk Enterprise, the trial version, and you're going to install that on your Windows Server 2019 virtual machine, and then you're going to install Graylog, the open source version, on your Ubuntu server. Once you get both of those SIM tools installed, which we talked about SIM tools in the week 5 lesson, so you should be familiar with what those are. Once we get those tools installed on our servers, then you're going to take some time to play around with it. Now, I'll be pointing to some resources on each one of those vendors' websites that kind of walk you through the basic functionality, or at least provide some type of tutorial on the basic functionality. But the primary part of the lab will be to get those tools installed on your Windows system, your Windows server rather, and your Ubuntu server. Then you're going to explore them. You'll also do some recon on the vendor website, meaning you're going to go on the website and do some research. And spell product wrong. How about that? On those products. And the reason you're going to do that is because this lab is going to directly feed into your homework number 2. So let's take a look first at our server 2019 system. I have that one already up. Hopefully you have a decent browser on your system. I have Firefox running. So to get Splunk onto this system, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our web browser, and we're just going to go straight to Splunk's website, Splunk.com. Now, in order to get the free version of Splunk, notice that there's a button right up here at the top that says Free Splunk. But there's a lot of data on the home page, so this might be a good place to start as far as doing your recon, doing your research on the different features and functions of this product. I probably would start here on the home page. Then you can go down to the products that Splunk has to offer by clicking on the products link. And then you're going to be looking at Splunk Enterprise. So we can click on that. And then you'll be able to get some additional information on what Splunk Enterprise specifically has to offer. All right, so first thing I have to do is sign up for a free account. So I'm going to click on the little icon of the person. And then click sign up. Here's my menu for signing up a free account. For the free accounts, which I'm doing again because I forgot my password. All right, so all my information looks good. So I'm going to hit create account now. And it's doing its thing. It's creating an account for me. And now that it's completed, you see I have my little W back, and I can actually go and download that free trial now. So now when I hit the free Splunk and then I go to the Splunk Enterprise option, instead of having that page that requests me to input information, I actually have a download. And as you can see, I can get Splunk for Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. So it'll run Splunk will run across all three of those platforms. We want it specifically for Windows Server, so we're going to download the MSI file, which is the installer file. We're going to download it onto our system. While that's downloading, you can check out a video. This is going to give you some information on how Splunk is utilized on a Windows system. So that's some good information. There's a link here for learning Splunk, and you can see some of the other informational videos that they have available. So this again is some good source material for you to use for your research on this particular product. Looks like my Splunk installed a Splunk package didn't start downloading, so I'm going to go up here to the top where it says your download should have started. No, try this URL. Click on that. And click on that. See if we kick off then. There we go. There we go. Running now. So I'm going to pause while that finishes the download process. Okay, that download has completed. So we can go ahead and take a look at it, and where we can actually kick off our installation. There it is. It's my MSI. I'm just going to double click it to get it installing. First step is to accept the license agreement. You can view that by clicking the button here. I can also customize the options for this install. For example, I can change the default folder that is going to install to. I can change what credentials Splunk's under, and I also can change whether or not it's going to add a shortcut to the start menu. I want to keep all those defaults, so I'm just going to hit next. Now I'm going to give Splunk a username. These are going to be the credentials for administering Splunk. I'm going to use the same credentials that I've used for my account, my Splunk account. And next. And then I wanted to go ahead and create that desktop shortcut and hit install. I'm going to let this install run. If they, it should pretty much be automated up after this point, but if there are any interactions, then we'll take a look at those. All right, so as I said, the rest of the installation just kind of ran automated. And now I'm at the finish screen. So let me launch Splunk. So I'm gonna hit finish and let it launch so we can take a look at the interface. Here's Splunk. So notice here again, it's giving us some information. The default username and password for Splunk is going to be, the username is going to be admin, and the password is going to be the one that you created when you installed. So admin, and then my password that I made up. Okay. Oh, oh, well, I think I actually misread that. So that says if you install this instance, use the username and password you created at the installation. So I created a username. So let me change that real quick. And now it should hopefully let me in. There we go. So now I am inside of my Splunk instance. And from here, you can go ahead and take a tour. So again, use the documentation inside of Splunk's website. There's a product tour option here. That might be a good place to start. But play around with it a bit, experiment with some of the tools. Best way to learn a new piece of software is just to get in there and press buttons. And since you're in a virtual machine, it's not like you could break anything. So play around, learn some of the essential tools, use the website for research, and try to identify some of the major features of Splunk. Now we're going to switch over to our Ubuntu server, and we're going to take a look at the installation process for Graylog. All right, so now to install Graylog, the first thing that you're going to want to do is probably on your main system, since our Ubuntu server doesn't have a GUI for us to read the instructions. On your your main system's desktop, you're going to do a search for Graylog's website, which is graylog.org. So let me pull this screen over here so you can see it. So this is let me go back to the home page. This is graylog.org. Just like Splunk, they are vendors, so they have a bunch of information on their products listed on their website. You can do some research on Graylog Enterprise, but the specific version of Graylog we're going to be installing is their Graylog Open. That's their open source version. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that Get Graylog Open link. Notice that they have they have it for Linux distribution. So this is the full instructions on how to install Graylog for your Debian-based Linux systems or your Red Hat-based Linux systems. There's also an OVA. This is a type of file format for VMware. So this is for setting up a pre-made VM that already has Graylog installed on it, and then you can play around with it there. Or if you're hardcore, and you want to just install just the file, which is all you want is the installation files, you can do it that way as well. That's the lightest package, so that might be your reason for wanting to do it that way. You already have a production Linux server, and all you need is the files to get Graylog set up. We're going to follow the Linux one because this is actually not going to take us to a installer per se. It's just going to show us some instructions. So to see those, though, we got to click on select Linux and then hit see additional options. And then we're going to go down here to where it says operating system packages, and we're going to click on Ubuntu. And then this is going to show us the instructions for installing Graylog on Ubuntu. Our server version is 20.04. You're going to walk through the instructions. There's some prerequisites that you're going to do. So this is some stuff that needs to happen prior to the package being installed, and you can see there's detailed instructions there. There's a back-end database for Graylog in order to collect all of that log information. The back-end database that it uses is called MongoDB. There's another tool that works along with Graylog called Elasticsearch. So this is the tool that actually does this helps you search through those logs once they've been brought into Graylog. And then this is the final piece of the installation package for Graylog. So this installation is pretty straightforward. You should be able to just walk through step by step, just typing in these lines of code at the command line in order to complete the different steps of the installation. So walk through those, complete those installation steps, and then that should get your install of Graylog in place. And then once Graylog is installed, just like with Splunk, play around with it a little bit, do some research on it via their website, and then you'll get more information on what to do next and your details for homework too.